Oh, snap. Bob Arum does it again. Oh, what's going on, y'all? It's fight day. It's Friday. Um, Bob Arum had a lot to say yesterday. Um, yesterday and today. Uh, Talking about Earl Spence versus Crawford. Um, you know, boycott PBC if the fight don't happen next. Oh man. Okay, sounds good. I do agree. It is the best fight in the welterweight division. Probably the best fight in boxing, really, besides AJ Wilder. Um, I would love to see Crawford versus Spence next. I would be so happy. I don't see it, but um, he was talking about it has to be um, like it was with Floyd and Pacquiao. It has to be on ESPN and probably Fox. Um, Not necessarily. I mean, the problem that Crawford has is Earl has options. I think most people are in the know that Spence and Porter are already talking about making that fight happen in July or September or August. Um, so I feel like there's a little bit of clout chasing. Because Crawford Khan's not getting a lot of buzz. Lomachenko Krola, that's not getting a lot of buzz. So kind of the perfect timing to shoot his shot. Um, Bob Arum, who's the same guy who stopped Crawford from potentially being an already pay-per-view star and stopping him versus Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he, with a straight face, said it months ago that he was the one that stopped Crawford versus Pacquiao fight. So now we're supposed to believe that you're willing to put him in there with Earl Spence. Um, that helps uh, Crawford the most now because they both at the moment only have one belt. But the more belts Earl Spence gets, that's one more notoriety just because the names Earl would get, having Sean Porter and possibly Keith Thurman. Um, if he's able to beat those two, his name's going to be bigger because those are more well-known fighters in the boxing world. Not that Crawford has a bad resume, but Sean Porter's a bigger name than a Victor Postal, than a Thierry Jean, than a John Molina Jr. Same thing with obviously Keith Thurman. Um, just bigger names, just beat Mikey Garcia. Um, doesn't necessarily mean they're all better fighters, but they do have bigger names in just the public in general. So if Earl Spence is able to grab the three belts on some Thanos type stuff, then that obviously helps Earl Spence and PBC claim A side, B side nonsense. Um, so right now it's more like wolf tickets. It sounds great. I would love for it to happen. Solely blaming Al Heyman. I mean, he's an advisor, not a promoter. Earl Spence has his own promotional company. Um, so I don't know. Al he has Earl's ear, but he can't actually tell Earl who and who not to fight. Um, that's not how it really works in the PBC, especially with the big names in boxing. So it sounds great, but coming from the guy who's got the biggest pot between him and Don King when Tito Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya fought, and those two made more money than the actual fighters who put their life on the line. Um, and also has stopped other big fights before, like Gamboa versus Lopez. So okay, argue you could have boycotted Top Rank. Lomachenko versus Mikey, that should have happened probably. That was Mikey's reason for not for moving up to 147 in the first place because he felt he wouldn't get the Lomachenko shot, so he moved up. Um, I don't know how true or not true that is, but it wouldn't shock me because Lomachenko he had a tough fight with Linares, tough fight with Jose Pedraza, which also not shock. I mean that happens when you fight top guys in higher divisions, but it's just the reality. So as usual, a lot of politics going on in boxing. Um, 2019 has so far kind of been a subpar year. It's good that we got Clarissa Shields versus Hammer tomorrow. That's an undisputed fight. Um, Crawford versus Khan. It's a good fight, but it's not earth-shattering. I think Khan could give Crawford troubles early for sure. Because we've never actually seen Khan outbox before. We've seen him cold caught versus Prescott. We've seen him caught in the exchange like Danny Garcia. We saw Maidana and Peterson put pressure on him. We saw Khan get timed by Canelo, who was too big for him in the first place. But we've never actually seen Khan outbox, so it is an interesting fight. But it's not, it's not against Earl Spence. It's not even against a Keith Thurman or a Sean Porter. So those fights just, that's the problem that Top Rank has. They just don't have enough big names at 147. So, and Crawford is the odd man out in the situation, which is why I think about a week ago or so he said, he's at peace where he's at in his career. He's getting paid well in all of his fights, and he knows he's the odd man out in the division. All the top names with a name or any type of glamour, any type of buzz are on PBC, and just ultimate reality, Earl Spence, Thurman, they have options. Thurman can fight a legend like Pacquiao, who should have put Crawford in there in the first place. Because that could have been a passing the torch fight, for Top Rank, Pacquiao versus Crawford. And who knows if Crawford even would have beaten Pacquiao at that point. Pacquiao was, he was younger back then. He was still strong. He looked good in the Bradley rubber match. So that's a fight easily could have happened, and Bob stopped it from happening. So, I'm not totally convinced that it would be Al Heyman's fault completely. I wouldn't be convinced that, he even make a serious offer to Earl Spence. He said he talked to Earl Spence and said Earl's down for the fight. Crawford's down for the fight. I do genuinely think both fighters are down. That's what I like about both fighters. They both seem pretty even keel, down to fight anybody. It's just, the ultimate battle is the promoter options that PBC does have, So we'll see what happens. Wish Crawford well, wish Lomachenko well in his fight. But it's not always cut and dry. It's not always black and white, just to place blame on one person, reason why Pacquiao didn't fight Mayweather the first go around. Well, Pacquiao didn't want to take a drug test. Freddie Roach even admitted as much. The first negotiations, why that didn't happen is because Pacquiao didn't want to take a drug test. And then the second time they tried to make the fight happen, Floyd Mayweather gave Pacquiao a bogus offer, and Pacquiao hung up the phone. So that's why the fight didn't happen when it probably should have happened back in like 2010, 2011. So, it's plenty of blame to go around. It's never just one side always, like most things in life. It's typically a little bit everywhere. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think about Bob Arum's comments on Earl versus Terrence Crawford. Future fights for both men. So yeah, drop a comment, like, subscribe, take it easy.